caught my wife cheating on tape. So I walked out, came back to find her spiraling, and my son completely abandoned. I've been a bit lost lately. It's been about 2 weeks since I found out. For a while, I had this gut feeling something was off. Too many red flags, but nothing concrete. I decided to confront her. Her reaction? Pure irrational anger. She couldn't believe I'd accuse her of something like that. She would never cheat, she insisted. That only made me more suspicious, so I snooped through her phone and computer but found nothing, so I took a step further and set up a few small cameras around the house. I decided to go visit some friends for the weekend to give her space. I grew up in Norway, right by the Swedish border. I met my wife in Sweden when I was 20, and she was 21. She had a 3-year-old kid when we met, and right from the start, we hit it off. I've been that kid's dad for the last 11 years, and I love him like he's my own son. We've been married for 6 years, but I'm sure that doesn't matter right now. Fast forward, and I came home early one day when I knew she wouldn't be there. I watched the footage. Sure enough, there she was doing adult stuff with another guy. It was Theodore, a work colleague I'd always been friendly with, even had drinks with him and his wife a few times. I never imagined he'd do this. I don't know why, but in that moment, I could feel the blood rush to my head. I used to think seeing red was just a figure of speech, but now I knew exactly what it meant. I've never been that angry before. I'm usually a pretty mellow guy, but in that moment, I just lost it. I started hitting the walls. I kicked the bedroom door so hard it flew off its hinges and smashed the glass table in the living room. I didn't even notice that I'd bitten the inside of my cheek until I screamed and sprayed blood across the wall and floor. At one point, I hit my head pretty hard, and it was like a switch flipped in my brain. That's when I snapped out of it and looked around at the wreckage. I knew I had to get out of there. If she had walked in at that moment, I honestly don't know what would have happened. But I know I would have ended up in jail, at best for domestic violence, at worst for something much worse. I quickly packed a suitcase with just the essentials and grabbed my laptop. I work in simulation and modeling, and my computer is custom built for my job. I can't do this work without it. I sent a copy of the video to Theodore's wife with nothing more than the message: "Your husband is cheating with my wife." I didn't want to say more. I didn't want to get into it. I met my son just outside our apartment complex. I gave him a hug. Told him I'd always love him, but his mother was cheating, so I had to leave. Looking back, I really regret telling him that. He shouldn't have to carry that burden. But at the time, I wasn't thinking clearly. It just came out. I went to the border, hoping to visit my family in Norway, but they wouldn't let me cross due to COVID restrictions, so I ended up renting a cheap Airbnb. I've been working, but honestly, I feel like a zombie. I haven't talked to my wife. The only person I've spoken to is my son, and I've tried to be honest with him. I told him I don't know what will happen next, but divorce is definitely on the table. I'm trying to find a good lawyer, but so far, no luck. I've received hundreds of messages from my wife and her family, but I haven't responded to any of them. My parents know what's happening, and as far as I know, that's the only support I have. I haven't reached out to my friends because they're all friends with her, and I just don't want to deal with that right now. I'm afraid that if I talk to her again, I'll lose it and do something I can't take back. I also don't want to lose contact with my son, but I have no idea where to start. I'm still boiling with rage, and I don't know how to get past it. I need to respond to my wife at some point, but I'm so angry that I don't think I'm capable of being rational. I just wanted to write this out and see if that helps. So far, it hasn't really made a difference. Update 1. I'm doing a little better now. I actually visited a cage fighting club, and I need to stress, I don't know how to fight at all. I'm not in great shape, and the few times I've ended up in a fight in my youth, I've gotten my butt kicked, but I talked to them, explained what had happened, and they were really friendly and eager to help. They made me work out for 2 hours, and when that didn't take the edge off, they put me in the ring with a very experienced fighter. It was clear he was being gentle with me. Even though I tried my best, I didn't even give him a proper workout. He easily blocked whatever I threw at him. The few times I managed to land a punch, he would quickly smack me back. Since I have no clue what I'm doing, those hits didn't really hurt, but they definitely humbled me. He would ask if I was okay every time he tapped me. Even apologized a few times when he thought he might have hit me too hard. Imagine that. Apologizing for hitting your opponent in a fight. He clearly didn't see me as a threat, and I doubt anyone would, but that experience gave me a newfound respect for people who know how to fight. I've decided to alert myself. These guys were some of the chillest people I've ever met, and I want to be as calm as them. The little fight helped a lot. It really took the edge off. I'm still angry, but now it's manageable. I've talked to my son a few times. I told him that no matter what happens, we'd be okay. I've always considered him my son, and nothing will change that. No matter what happens between his mother and me, I think he appreciated that. I've also spoken to a few mutual friends and her parents. Apparently, my wife is unraveling. She's been calling and texting everyone at all hours of the day and night, confessing everything to nearly everyone and offering money to anyone who could put her in touch with me. I was thinking about only speaking to her through a lawyer, but I can't afford that, so I've asked my cousin to act as a go-between. I gave her a list of questions to put forward to my wife, so we'll see how things go from there. Next week, I plan to reach out to Theodore's wife. Some Redditors strongly suggested that I talk to my wife and tell her that if I could adopt my son, I would consider reconciliation, but I could never do that. I will never use my son as a pawn in anything, no matter what. Right now, I would love to adopt him, but only if he asks me to, and only if I'm sure it's what he truly wants. Without any influence or pressure from anyone else, I'm going to get through this. I've received a lot of good advice on here, and now I feel like I have a plan. Moving forward. Update 2. I'm sorry it's been so quiet here. I've had a lot on my plate since my last post, and I've seen a lot of questions in my messages, so I thought it would be easier to give you all an update. After my last post, I started calling my son twice a day. He'd always tell me everything was okay, but I guess it really wasn't. I was focusing on trying to get myself under control, so I started good individual counseling, and that helped some, but what really made a difference was when I went to try boxing. The first place I visited was kind of grimy and run down, but there was something about it. The 5 guys there seemed to have an amazing camaraderie, and I really wanted to be a part of that. They told me I needed to talk to the old man who owned the place. He decided who could join. The others seemed to respect him a lot, so I was a bit nervous. Let's just say the old man has an abrasive personality. He listened, but when he started talking, I could feel myself getting more and more agitated. There wasn't anything specific I could put my finger on. Everything he said was true, and maybe that's what pissed me off, or maybe it was just the tone. It felt like every sentence or question was an accusation. The old man made me feel like I wasn't good enough to be a part of his club, and I found myself arguing with him, trying to prove I was worthy. I still don't know if he's just a jerk or a genius. But in the end, he's really had a positive impact on my life. I'm starting to see why people respect him so much. He helped me understand why I was so angry and how to think more clearly moving forward. But that's a whole other story for another time. A few days after my last post, about 20 minutes after I'd spoken with my son, he called me back. He was crying and apologized for lying to me. He admitted that things weren't okay at home. He told me that my wife had been sitting in front of the TV for days, staring at it, and that even when he turned it off, she just sat there. He hadn't eaten anything but a sandwich a friend's mother made for him when he visited. Of course, I immediately rushed home. I could smell the rotten garbage in the hallway even before I opened the door. When I stepped inside, the house was an absolute disaster. It was clear it hadn't been cleaned since I left almost a month ago. The floors were covered in crumpled sheets of paper. Dirty dishes were piled in the sink. There was broken glass on the floor, and the smell of rotten garbage was unbearable. The place was disgusting. I went straight to check on my son. I had picked up a burger for him on the way over, so I told him to stay in his room and eat while I went to talk to his mom. I assured him that everything would be okay, that I was home. I was going to take care of him. He cried and hugged me for a bit before I went to check on her. That hug felt so good. I had missed him so much. I told myself I'd never leave him again. I found my wife sitting in front of the TV, just like my son had described. What he hadn't told me was how terrible she looked. She had lost a shocking amount of weight. She was just skin and bones. Her eyes were sunken, and there were dark rings around them. Her skin was lifeless, her lips cracked, her hair a tangled mess, and her clothes were filthy. I pulled a chair in front of her, between her and the TV, and sat down. The smell coming off her was awful. There was a bucket on the floor, and later I found out it was half full of week-old vomit. I felt a deep pain for her. For a moment, I completely forgot what she had done. I wanted to protect her, to help her get better. It was really painful to see her like this. I guess in some ways I still love and care for her. Despite everything she's done, that fact kind of terrifies me. I didn't know what to say. She looked completely out of it, almost like she wasn't even there. She actually asked me if I was real. When I said yes, she broke down in a way I've never seen anyone cry before. It wasn't just crying. It was more like wailing, and it was so loud it startled me. Then, without warning, in the middle of her scream, she either passed out or fell asleep. I put my Fitbit on her arm, trying to get a pulse. I didn't know how else to check. Her heart rate was erratic, fluctuating between 100 and 150. So I figured that wasn't a good sign. I made sure she was in a comfortable position on the couch and wiped the snot off her face before running to our neighbor for help. They were happy to look after my son while I took her to the hospital. She's been there for 7 days now. Though I've kind of lost track of time, I visited once, but she got so upset from seeing me that the doctors recommended I not visit for now. They still don't have a diagnosis, and they don't know when if she will come out of it. In the meantime, I've been focusing on taking care of my son. I've made sure he's regularly seeing a counselor, and he seems to be doing better now. There's no doubt he's been traumatized by all of this, and I feel overwhelmed with guilt for my part in causing him this pain. I've been in contact with a lawyer about custody rights, and I'm preparing for divorce, though I'm holding off on it for now. It took us several days to clean the house, but we're getting there. I decontaminated the fridge with bleach, but the rotten food smell still lingered, so I ended up having to get a new one. That was just a start. I also found that my wife had taken all my dirty laundry and arranged it into a body shape in her bed. It was strange and disturbing, and some parts of it were anatomically correct. I don't really know what to make of that. I went through all the papers she had left scattered around the house, and most of it was incoherent nonsense. Some pages had dates and times, but I couldn't make sense of them. There were others that just had long lines of sorry written on them. The rest of the text would just turn into wiggly lines in the middle of the sentence. It's all unsettling, and I'm not sure what to do with it. My anger has completely faded, replaced by sadness, both for the situation and for the trauma my son has endured. I feel bad for my wife, but at the same time, I understand why I was angry and how I've changed to cope with the pain. A big part of my personality, being a good husband and provider, was shattered by her affair. That part of me is gone now. It was just too painful to keep, and I'm not sure I have it in me to forgive that. It's just so hard because I used to be proud of that part of myself. It hurts to acknowledge that she caused that wound. I don't know where we're headed, and it's too early to make any decisions, but for now, all possibilities are open. I'm still hurting and confused, and I'll just keep trying to rebuild my self-esteem and my sense of masculinity. If my wife comes out of this, I'll talk to her and see where we go from there, but right now, my focus is on my son. I need to make sure he's okay. Sorry if this update doesn't have the epic confrontations or revenge that some of the other stories here have. I'm just exhausted and sad. I don't know what the right way forward is. It seemed so clear in my mind before I came back, but now I just can't see a good path ahead. Update 3. I've got some questions now, and I'm hoping you can help me look at this from different angles. If you're just going to post divorce comments, please don't bother. I'll simply ignore them. I know in the end that whatever I choose will be what's right for me and my family, and I'll make that decision when I'm ready. I haven't been sleeping much, so if I ramble a bit, I hope you'll bear with me. I really appreciate all the different perspectives that have been offered. They help me think things through. So, my wife is still in the hospital. She's refusing to let anyone see her except for her mother. The only thing she's asked for, aside from no visitors, is that no one is to speak to me on her behalf or pressure me in any way. She's confessed to cheating to just about everyone, but not in detail. Her calls have been frantic, just saying things like, "I cheated. He's going to leave me. What do I do?" So, most people have been leaving me alone unless I reach out to ask for help or advice. A few days ago, her mother gave me a letter from my wife. It's 32 pages long, and I'll try to summarize the main points here. In the letter, my wife apologizes for what she's done to me, to our son, and to us as a family. She says she'll sign anything I put in front of her. Divorce papers, whatever I want. No questions asked. She also confesses to a 2-month emotional affair with another man online before the current affair turned physical. I didn't know about this at all, so I believe she's being honest. Her confession is very detailed, and she's given me all her login credentials to confirm that she isn't hiding anything. She freely admits that she was captivated by the attention she got from this man and the excitement it brought her. She seems genuinely confused as to how it got this far. I believe what she's written because emails, messages, and call logs back up her story. She's also pointed me to a thumb drive in one of her drawers that contains a diary going back almost 10 years. Her diary. And her letters seem to align perfectly, based on what I've read so far. The first emotional affair was apparently more of a game to her. Just flirting, no digital or in-person meetings, but one day, she felt compelled to send a message to this guy, which she immediately regretted. According to the diary, she was trying to find the courage to tell me about it, but couldn't Then, when the main affair started, she was flattered and got a huge ego boost from this man. He was a very handsome guy, a model type, and I've met his wife, who is stunning, jaw-droppingly beautiful. Getting attention from such a beautiful guy gave her a huge sense of validation, and she felt special for outcompeting his beautiful wife for his attention. She admits she knew what she was doing was wrong, but she seems genuinely confused that she couldn't stop herself. She says she hates herself for losing control. From what I understand, the affair only became physical once the other man started to lose interest in her. She started using sex to keep him interested, as a way to keep him giving her attention. It seems like the sex became more of a chore for her, something she did just to get more attention, almost like a reward for him. While she clearly struggled with guilt, especially at the beginning, she eventually compartmentalized her emotions. The affair was physical for about 4 weeks. They kissed and fooled around, with intercourse happening 5 times, according to her diary. This is also backed up by location data and credit card bills for hotel stays. The rest of the affair is the part you already know, the details I've shared before. Her letter concludes with this. She doesn't know who the person was that had the affair, or at least she doesn't recognize herself in the person who did it. She can't understand how she could so easily abandon her morals and beliefs and hurt the people she loves. I love you more than anything, and I can't understand why I wasn't able to stop myself from doing what I did. I won't insult you by asking you to understand or forgive me, because I know I don't deserve either. My only hope now is that I can be helpful in some way to help you and our son heal. I'll do anything you ask of me, no matter how big or small. If you think it might help, I'll do it without question. Once I'm released from the hospital, I will stay with my mother. I don't want my presence to remind you of the pain I've caused. I don't have the words to express how deeply sorry I am for everything. But my greatest wish is that you heal and find someone worthy of your love, someone who can make you happy. I pray that I haven't destroyed your ability to trust and love again in the future. I won't be with anyone else because I clearly can't be trusted. I will seek therapy to try to understand why I did what I did, and maybe even find a way to fix what's broken in me. But right now, I don't really know who I am or why I couldn't stop myself. I knew what I was doing was wrong and that I was hurting everyone, myself included, but I did it anyway. I was selfish. I caused all of this just to feel a little better about myself, even for a brief moment. When I saw the pain on your face, watching that video in the bedroom, when I saw the heartbreak on your face as you saw me with the other man, that's when it hit me. That's when I realized how delusional I'd become and how terrible and evil I was. I'm afraid there's no salvation for me now. I will always love you, and I wish I could undo everything, take it all back, but I can't. I'm sorry. I ugly cried while reading her letter, and I don't know what to do now. I've been up all night, emotionally drained, confused, and unsure of everything. I watched the video again, and I also watched the video of me going insane. I don't remember a lot of what's on the video, and it's painful to watch. My wife's actions are so hard to process, but I can't seem to stop looking at it. I keep replaying it over and over, trying to make sense of it all. It's hurting me, so I don't understand why I keep doing this to myself. I also keep watching the video of me spiraling. I can't stop, even though I know it's making everything worse. Why can't I stop watching it? I'm struggling to understand what's happening to me. Also, is what she's saying even possible? Can a person become so caught up in an affair that their behavior turns compulsive, like she describes? Is it really not a free choice anymore? Could someone share their insight on this? I would appreciate any perspective, especially if there are people here who've experienced something like this. From what I read in her diaries, it seems like her depression started about 3 years ago. After her favorite aunt passed away, her outlook on life became very dark after that, almost hopeless. I've read stories where depression seems to lead to drastic personality changes and can even trigger affairs. Does anyone here have any insight on that? It's clear she never loved any of these men. She loved the ego boost, the increased self-esteem, and the rush of feeling validated when they told her the right things. On D-Day, she completely cut the Ryan out of her life and called his wife to tell her about the affair. I know this because I met the Ryan's wife. She actually suggested that we have a revenge affair, which was pretty strange. She was fixated on that idea, like it would somehow fix things, but aside from her looks, she was probably the most annoying woman I've ever met. Talking to her was like nails on a chalkboard. Needless to say, we won't be having an affair, and we will never meet again. I don't know what to do now. I can't sleep, and I can't really think straight. I'm emotionally exhausted. I could really use some help and perspective. Update 4. I want to thank everyone on this forum for all the support I've received. It's really been helpful in helping me get a grip on things. I feel like I'm back in control of the situation now. I've been trying to see my wife, but she still refuses, and her mother is acting as a go-between. I tried calling her out on her promise in the letter she wrote to me, that she would do anything to help me if I thought it would help. I asked her if we could talk, but her mother relayed the message that she believes it would help, so I suggested we see her doctor together to try to understand things better. The doctor won't tell me anything without her present, but I'll try to be patient. In summary, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, and my wife has been diagnosed with persistent depression and some bipolar disorder. She has a chemical imbalance in her brain, and they're trying different medications for her. Many of you were right. Her condition made her vulnerable, and then a predator crossed her path, and now, here we are. The Ryan has been cheating on his wife for the entire duration of their relationship. With multiple women at the same time, they are divorcing, and the Ryan has been beaten up a bit. Not badly, from what I've heard. The Ryan's wife has reached out to the husbands of all the women he's had affairs with. I have a friend staying with me most days to help me stay focused, and this weekend, I'm going camping with my son to try and keep things stable. I've deleted the videos of my wife and of me losing control because they were just causing me pain. I kept watching them over and over, and it wasn't helping. One part of me is screaming to just walk away, to run and find someone else. What if she cheats again? How can I trust her? Can I get rid of this movie running in my head? Will I divorce her in a few years because I can't get past this? These are the questions I'm struggling with. But divorce would mean losing daily contact with my son, and there's no doubt that he needs me right now. He's terrified of being abandoned, which isn't surprising given everything that's happened. If I leave his mother now, it would make things worse for him, and I can't bring myself to do that. We've started going to the boxing gym together, and I want to keep being there for him. We are stronger than ever before. Being there for my son is giving me incredible strength and motivation to face this with an open mind. He's leaning heavily on me right now. So even if I decide to divorce, I'm not sure I could actually go through with it in the short term. He's begged me not to leave him again. The 2 weeks I was away were traumatizing for him, and I can't expose him to that again. There's no way to know how long it will take for his mother to stabilize enough to be a good parent to him if I divorce now. Maybe she'll never recover. Even if I do divorce her, I will still carry the pain and the scars. That's something I'd bring into any new relationship, and I feel would greatly reduce the chances of such relationships succeeding. Isn't it just as well that I'm with her while I try to heal? At least she will understand why I'm struggling and why I'm acting like this. If I leave her, what's really waiting for me? Single women my age seem either divorced for good reasons or consumed by the idea of having children, willing to settle with anyone. Even if they're not a good long-term partner, there seems to be a high risk of entering relationships that are doomed from the start because one person is desperate. The idea of dating strangers or having random hookups doesn't appeal to me. And how long would it even take for me to find someone who understands me as well as my wife? She's the only person in my life who truly gets me. And it took a long time to get to that point. Isn't that something I could use in my own healing? Would I ever find someone again who could do that? How long would that take? There's no guarantee the new partner wouldn't cheat. Either, given everything, I actually think the odds of my wife cheating again are lower than with someone new. My son also needs his mother. She needs to heal before she can step back into that role. But will she heal faster if I divorce her? Or would she heal better if we try to reconcile? I just don't know, and it's driving me crazy. How can I know if she's safe for my son to be around if I'm not there with him? When it comes to my own healing, would I be better off alone or with her? From what I've learned here, it seems that those who immediately jump into divorce don't heal very well. The best chance for healing, it seems, is when the wayward partner actively contributes to the healing process over a period of 3 to 5 years. I don't even know if she's capable of that at the moment, to be honest. So here I am, terribly conflicted. I have a million questions running through my head and almost no answers. I'm still struggling with the two extremes, reconciliation or divorce. And everything in between. I can't deny that I still love my wife. It turns out my bond to her isn't that easily broken. I really don't want to love her, though the prideful side of me wants to hate her. But I can't lie to myself. I still love her deeply. And even though I fantasized about her suffering as much as I did in the first few weeks, I don't want to hurt her or anyone. It wouldn't help me at all either. I see a long, painful road ahead of us. I hope I have the strength to stay the course and the patience to make the right choices, both for my family and for myself. The only thing I've been able to decide is that if I offer reconciliation, it won't be something that's just given. I will need to see effort from her. I won't offer it until I'm absolutely sure that we are both 100% committed to that path. If we do reconcile, it will be like a probationary period, and I don't want to be that kind of person. But what choice do I have if I feel I can't trust her? Either way, we'll need a lot of therapy. Maybe she doesn't even want reconciliation. I just don't know. Not being able to talk to her is starting to feel like a real burden for me. It's stressing me out. I really feel the need to have a conversation with her. If anyone has any suggestions on how to approach these talks, I'd be open to hearing them. Once again, thank you to everyone here for all the support and guidance. It means more than you know.